This is a Toastmasters agenda meeting template. It's loaded into the WordPress editor, the new WordPress editor known as Gutenberg. But instead of blocks of text or images being loaded in for a blog article, we have these placeholder widgets for items on our agenda, either agenda notes, which are usually sort of stage directions for how our meeting is structured. And we can type a message in there. We can edit the message that might already be in there. The up-down arrows will let us move any of these blocks. We can assign a certain amount of time to that activity, amount of time that we think it's going to take for the Sergeant of Arms to open the meeting in this example. And we can tweak the parameters for various roles or add additional roles. And what we're after is a sign-up form for our members to be able to come in and click that button that says take role to volunteer for something. So I just volunteered for timer. I can sign up to speak. Actually, I previously signed up to speak in this demo. So I'll just add to that a little bit. It's going to confirm that I've signed up. And also we can go in and show the agenda in a format meant for printing. Show a more fleshed out example. Here's my home club with people signed up for the speaking role. Other roles such as evaluator and timer. And one of the ways that we can help ourselves to fill the agenda is to use this trick where it loads it into a template meant for email. We can add a note at the top of the email saying we really need people to sign up. Click send. It'll go out to all the members who've been registered through the website. We also have this editing mode where we can go in and assign other members to specific roles, and we can even tweak the timing associated. This is new, and it only works with the new editor. We can tweak the timing associated. I'll come back to that a little bit later. Let's get back to our template and how we can work with that template. So if I wanted to get rid of one of these default items, I can just click there and choose Remove Block. I can format that. I can mark it bold or italic or whatever. And obviously I can change the amount of time associated with that. I can scroll down and add a new role to the agenda. Clicking between lines gives me a blank line. If I just started typing, I would get a regular paragraph block. But if I click this plus sign in the margin, I can choose special blocks that I'd like to include, which could be other things such as image, but here I'm going to start typing the word toast to narrow it down to the Toastmasters widgets. Now I have the role, I have the agenda note, I also have a sign-up form note, which is sort of similar, except it only shows up on the sign-up form, not on the agenda. We have an editable note, which is good for things like the theme or word of the day, something that changes from meeting to meeting. So you can change that at the same time that you're assigning people to different roles. And we also have a widget that people can click on a button to record the fact that they expect to be absent at a specific meeting, just to help you not bug them to fill a role when they're not going to be around. But here I'm going to insert a role, and we do have a humorist on the agenda, but in our club we call it something different. We call it the jokester. So I'm going to make this a custom role and add that in. And I also thought we should rearrange things a little bit. So we're going to move the topics master down until after the speakers. So it's going to be our formal speeches and then the topics master. I also want to add a note here saying that between the speakers and the topics masters portion of the meeting, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And of course, we want to assign the time. We will update that. Because I'm still in the template, I'm not in a specific meeting event. So what I really want to do is go out and generate a set of events based on this template. Or if they'd been previously created, we would want to update all the events based on the template. And that prompt appeared on the front end of the site when we're reviewing a template. It also appears here in the editor, create or update events based on template. It will project out all the Tuesday dates that match our regular schedule. And we can go view any of these. Let's scroll down and see our changes. Actually, there's a mistake here. I've got 2 jokester roles showing up. I only wanted 1 jokester per meeting. Let's go in and see why that is. So if we look at the jokester role, let's see, I see that I set it to count 2, as in 2 instances of the role. I'd meant to set it to 2 minutes and 1 jokester. So I'm going to go back and click on Edit Template. So we're going back to edit the template that this meeting was based on, the specific meeting agenda event. And I need to change that back to be just 1 jokester, 2 minutes. Okay, once I've done that, I can save this. I'll navigate back to my link that lets me create and update events based on the template. And this time it's giving me the option to update. I'm going to check that yes, I want to update all of these. So now when we go to view it, we should see just 1 jokester. A very common scenario I find comes up is that you might want to change your meeting setup from 3 speakers to 2 because somebody's giving a longer speech. So we can do that by going in here and clicking Tweak Timing for Speaker Role. We're going to change that from 3 to 2. It's also prompting me, since it's a speech, do we want to also update the number of evaluators to have 2 evaluators? And I'm going to leave that as checked. I'm going to say we need 20 minutes for the 2 speakers. And we'll see that now it's changed. It's now 2 speakers and 2 evaluators showing up on the sign-up form. If we go back to edit, we can also take a look at the projected time required for each portion of the meeting and what that means for when the meeting is ending. And actually it looks like we've got it perfect. We've got it right down to 7:30, end of meeting. If everything goes perfectly, exactly on the time that we had required, then we'll get this done in an hour. Because one of the first things you want to do when you're planning your template is make sure that you have those estimates as good as you can get them. If you want to run a nice orderly meeting that finishes on time. So let's go back to our template. We navigated it through a link on the main dashboard. And we could go through and change the minutes allowed for each of these things. Might actually find it easier to go into this edit signups mode when viewing the template. And when we scroll down, we see those projected times. And if we go all the way down to the end, we can see that actually our meeting is running a little bit long. We've built in too much time for too many things. So if we want to keep it to a 1-hour meeting, we need to tighten things up someplace. We can go through and start making adjustments to each portion of the meeting to see what we need to tighten up that will get us to our targeted end of meeting time. Well, there we are. We've got it down to 7:30. We can go out and create and update all those events that were based on this template. The red there is showing me that one was adjusted independently, but we're going to go ahead and update it anyway. And if we view this, we'll see that indeed the Toastmaster is shown as wrapping things up just at 7:29, just within an hour.